Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're making air fryer meatloaf. Now, for those of you who do not like meatloaf because it's just dry and tasteless and maybe bland, I'm going to assure you that this meatloaf is one that you'll want to try, because the last time I made this meatloaf, it was gone in a flash. So, if you're ready for this adventure, let's get started. Here's what you're going to need. 1 pound of ground beef, half a yellow onion, finely chopped, half a green bell pepper, finely chopped, 1 egg, half a cup of breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 of a cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of sriracha, 9 strips of bacon, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. All right, you guys, if you are making this with me right now, go ahead and preheat your air fryer to 400 degrees. All right, first thing you're gonna do is put your meat into your bowl, and we are going to break it up with our hands so that when we add everything else, it will be easy to incorporate. Next thing we're gonna do is add our onion and our bell peppers. We're also gonna add our breadcrumbs, our egg, our salt, and our pepper. And then I am going to take the bowl that I had everything measured in, and I'm gonna put in our 1/4 of a cup of ketchup. And yes, this is the ketchup cannon. Someone in one of my recent videos, I think it was the cordon bleu video, said something about the sour cream cannon. I love the name of that. So this is gonna be my cannon from now on. Anyway, so the 1/4 of a cup of ketchup is gonna go into the bowl along with the 2 tablespoons of sriracha. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just use my pastry brush and mix it together well. Once that's mixed well, I'm actually going to take out 2 tablespoons of this sriracha ketchup mixture, and I'm gonna put that in my meatloaf. Right now, save this 1/4 of a cup of mixture over here for just a minute, because we're gonna need that in a second. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in here with our hands and we are gonna smush it all up. So let the smushing commence. This is the part I hate the most, but this meatloaf is so good, it's worth it. Ooh, okay. Once you ensure that the mixture is all nice and mixed together, we're going to form 2 meatloaves. But before we do, let's talk about what we're gonna use inside our air fryer. All right, before we move to the containers, let's go ahead and mix in our 2 tablespoons of brown sugar into our ketchup mixture. All right, and once that is smooth, then we're gonna set it aside. In past times that I've made this meatloaf, it is very important when you don't cook it covered that you make it into 2 meatloaves. So this makes 2 very nice meatloaves that fit right into this pan side by side. However, if you do one whole one, just know that you're gonna wanna cover it. That way your bacon doesn't burn, because yes, we are making bacon. So what I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 loaves and show you how they fit into this pan. And then I'm gonna make it 1 whole loaf, because that meets the needs of our family a little bit better. So what I usually do is just make them into logs, and then I'll pop them in there and I'll shape them, and don't press them too firmly together, because if you press them too firmly, they'll be really dense. So you just kind of wanna lightly pat them, kind of like the baseball method, and then pat them into your loaves, kind of like this. You know, alternately, I just thought about this. You can use mini loaf pans for these, and it would be absolutely fantastic, and it would fit in your air fryer very nicely. So if you have mini loaf tins, you might want to try that. But this is what your meatloaves will look like if you did 2, and you definitely want to space them out in the tray. Don't let them touch, and don't let them touch the sides. So as you can see here, both of them are almost identical in size, and they're not touching any of the sides. That's important because you don't want something to cook faster than something else. When you're making a whole one, We're just gonna stick it all together. And I wanna do a whole one because I'm feeding the whole family today, and 2 little ones, then it looks like only 2 people get to eat. So we're just gonna do one whole one. So I'm just going to lightly press down, lightly, so that we don't pack it too hard together because I don't want it to be stodgy and thick. And then I'm gonna make it kind of tall like a log. So don't press it down into your pan. Instead, press it upward because this will help it cook more evenly. So it's up, almost like a loaf of bread. Do you see how it kind of looks like a loaf of bread? That is perfect, and that means that it will cook very nicely. All right, and now it is time for us to cover it with my favorite ingredient of all times, bacon. You've heard me say it before, you'll hear me say it again. Bacon is Jesus food. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to cover this meatloaf with the bacon. And yes, it is the raw bacon. So I am tucking it under the meatloaf. And then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to put it over the top. So I'm kind of making a checkered pattern. In my head I am, but it's not like, don't judge me on my checkers. Oh. And if you really want to be bougie, pick up your bacon and actually like weave it through, but you don't have to. But we're going to just for the moment because that sounded like a fun idea. So I'm just gonna weave my bacon around this meatloaf. It'll make a great thumbnail, right? When I make pies, I also am not a very good lattice worker. Because I'm like up, over, in, out. What? I don't remember. It's too much math. So cute. Meatloaf is so cute. This meatloaf is so cute. Who knew a meatloaf could be so cute? I didn't. But this is really cute. Okay, this is going to be a showstopper. Okay, so now we're going to take our sriracha, our ketchup, and our brown sugar sauce, and we're going to paint this bacon. Yes, we're making sriracha candied bacon over the top of this meatloaf. It's delicious. The last time I made this, I forgot to cover it and the bacon burnt. And I was like, oh, darn. I peeled the bacon completely off. And I told my guys, I'm like, sorry, I burnt the bacon. They didn't care. They loved it anyway. My husband was like, I didn't think it tasted burnt. I was like, you do you, man, but it was burnt. Which is why I suggest covering it. And do you want to use all of the sauce in your bowl? Yes, you really do. So don't be shy. Slather that stuff on there. Once you have all of that sauce on there, and don't worry if it drips off the side, you'll just make little caramel bits later. Once you have it all on there and your air fryer is preheated, now it's time to figure out how you're gonna cover it and how you're gonna check the temperature on the inside. So what I have here is a piece of parchment paper. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to basically make a mess with it as you try to cover it. Very important. I'm gonna put it right here on the top, and then I'm going to do this and tuck it underneath. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of touching a little bit, and I don't want to be touching. So I'm going to pull it up just a little bit, shimmy, shimmy. Look at that. Now we're not touching, but we're going to protect that bacon from burning. The other option is to foil the top of this. Now, those of you who are Pampered Chef people know that they don't recommend you put foil into your air fryer, and every time I put foil in my air fryer, I get comments saying, don't put foil in your air fryer. I believe that the reason they don't want you to put foil in your air fryer is because it inhibits the airflow when you cover something completely. So if I was going to cover this, I would only be covering the dish, not everything around it, so the airflow can still flow around my item. However, I'm not going to do that today because I want to show you that parchment works as well. However, again, you need to make sure you have your parchment tucked, because if that parchment flies around, you are going to have potential to cause a fire. So don't do that. All right, into the preheated air fryer, it's gonna go, and it's gonna cook for anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. Now, how do you know? I mean, 10 minutes difference is a long time. You're gonna want to temp the center of this to the ideal temperature for you and your family. What temperature is that? That's up to you for real. We're gonna finish ours about 135 or so, but I think the FDA recommends 160 to 165. So make sure you temp it and then it'll be done. So we're gonna hit it to air fry for 30 minutes and I'm gonna check it at the 30-minute mark. So if you're ready to begin, let's go. Okay, and I'll see you back here in 30 minutes. The timer just ended, so let's go ahead and check our temperature. Oh man, look at how beautiful that looks already. And that means we can take off the, oh yeah, looks great. So now we're just gonna take this off. I'm gonna take the crispy bit and we're gonna get it back in for the remainder of the 10 minutes. Okay, the timer is about to go off. I can't wait to show you this amazing, beautiful, so cute meatloaf. If you don't have a pair of oven gloves and you have an air fryer, you probably have a lot of burns. Get yourself a good pair of oven gloves. They're amazing. You ready? You ready? Check out this meatloaf. Look at that. Now, can you imagine, had we not covered it, how absolutely black that would be? My husband and my son say that it doesn't matter if it was black because it was still absolutely delicious. So we're gonna lift this meatloaf right out onto our plate here, and oh my goodness, look at how amazing that looks. That is fantastic. All right, let's cut into this and see what we got. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, the end piece is never very nice because it's the end piece, but at least you'll get to see the beautiful meatloaf on the inside. Look at how juicy and moist that is. Oh man, this is seriously the best meatloaf you will ever eat. It is so good. Something about that teeny tiny bit of sriracha in there. I don't know if it's the vinegar that's in the sriracha or if it's the peppers themselves, but something about it gives the meatloaf an absolutely fantastic flavor. And the candy that is along the outside of this meatloaf, like the candied bacon, it's a total treat. My mouth is watering and I'm eating it. Oh my gosh. Everything about this meatloaf says you need to make it. It is seriously delicious. And I have a confession, okay? Last week, I made a video making this meatloaf. I had an issue with the video files and I completely lost the video. And so I was like, I really like this video. I want to do it again. And so I told my husband, yeah, I'm gonna have to redo the meatloaf video. And he was like, oh darn. Then I said to my son, yeah, I have to redo the meatloaf video. And he's like, oh, do you need to redo it every week? Because he liked it that much as well. So don't believe me, believe my husband and my son. They think that this meatloaf recipe is a winning recipe. So that's all for me, I guess. I'm gonna get off here because I'm gonna feed my family. I just finished some bread. We're gonna have some meatloaf and we are gonna have a great evening enjoying this absolutely fantastic meatloaf. All right, you guys, well, if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure, and sometimes I do the adventure over again because I lose the files. It is what it is. If you follow me on Facebook, you know what happened. But if you have any ideas for me, leave it in the comments below. I'm always up for the adventure, and I'm always up to try something new. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go. I will see you on the next adventure. Bye.